Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring Emilie Fritz Veloso. She's a serial entrepreneur, super mama, and co-founder of O.N.E Coconut. After graduating Georgetown University, Emilie started her career as a communications consultant in the beauty and healthcare industries here in New York and London. And upon earning her MBA in 2005 from Pepperdine University, she launched her first venture as co founder and president of O.N.E Coconut Water, which was sold to PepsiCo in late 2012. Now, more recently, Emilie, who's also the former CEO of the Sacred Space in Miami, and for those of you who have not heard of it, the Sacred Space in Miami is a spiritually aligned wellness destination community for seekers of all kinds to gather, connect, and elevate in mind, body, and spirit. Currently, she has entered on a new chapter as founder and CEO of the One Tribe, a service to the mother on her journey to pregnancy and beyond. It's an integrative, expert led community offering education, movement, and wellness for mamas in digital and physical spaces. Their first location opened in Miami and they're expanding outward. She joins me today to chat career, health and wellness, and how coconut water has always played a major role in shaping her life. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Emilie Fritz Veloso. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you. Thank you, Zen. I'm happy to be here.
So excited to chat with her. So, you have had a very diverse career from communications consulting to entrepreneurship. Can you share some key lessons or experiences that have shaped your journey? You're an advisor to also Once Upon a Coconut. Talk to me.
Gosh, that's a great question. I mean, things when I think of my entrepreneurial journey, I think the most important is really passion and conviction in what you're doing. Like when I look back at where it started, I mean, back at this is 2005 when we launched One Coconut Water. I knew what the coconut water category was going to become, and then you just lead. You lead with passion, conviction, and determination. And I think other things on an entrepreneurial journey. One thing I always tell people is everything takes twice as long. But if you think something's going to take a year, it's going to take two. It cost twice as much and take twice as long. The other thing that stands out when thinking of kind of the journey of starting a company, founding it, taking it all the way to sale, is the team. The team is the single most important because it's bringing people together and getting everybody involved in a shared vision, a shared mission, and everybody doing their little part because everybody comes with different talents. Like I always say, I am excellent at nothing. I'm really good at a lot of things. And you find those team members and you put them like their special, their talent, their expertise, and you lead them to something bigger than themselves.
Well, that's the difference between a leader and a boss, and you are a leader, and I love that about you. Now, I love coconut water because, okay, so it's truly proprietary. We could talk about its taste, we could talk about the health benefits. The health benefits are key for me, right? Potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Those are all electrolytes. They play important roles in helping maintain heart health, liver and kidney health, and digestive functions. And of course, healthy blood sugar levels, muscle and nerve function, and just so much more. I always tell the story that I started drinking coconut water after I was battling with thyroid disease and having undergone radiation, radioactive iodine treatment. I was always looking to hydrate, right? So that was, for me, it was key. Now, O.N.E Coconut Water was a significant success, eventually being acquired by PepsiCo. What inspired you to start Coconut Water Company, and what were some of the challenges you faced in building it?
Well, going back, so I actually co-founded it with my husband at the time. We met in an international business plan competition for MBA students where we were competing against each other, and he presented the business plan for One Coconut Water, and he'll always say he fell in love with me. I was like, I fell in love with his business plan. And it was such an interesting time because at the time, coconut water was just being packaged and sold for the first time ever, starting in Brazil. And the reason was because the packaging before, coconut water has been around for millennia. There's water in coconut water. So it was just so obvious that once now that it could be packaged and not, and shelf stable for some time, that it was just going to be a success. And that is exactly what happened. When I look back at the greatest challenges, it was really fun. I found it fun to be introducing coconut water to buyers all over the country. And they'd be like, coconut milk, coconut what? I don't understand what this is. And we'd go through all the health benefits and all the reasons. And it was really interesting launching a beverage business that we didn't fit into one category. We fit into every category. We were in produce, we were in juice, we were in water, we were in sports drinks. There was coconut water runs through all of them. So people, the industry had a little bit of time categorizing us. It's so funny. I remember a few years later when I'd walk in to a store and they'd have an entire aisle of coconut water. And I was like, see, it deserved its own category altogether. So really, it was that, but that was probably one of the biggest challenges, was introducing it and getting people to understand what it was.
Now, how do you think the health and wellness industry has evolved since your days at One Coconut Water, and what trends do you see shaping its future?
That's a great question. I mean, it only continues to grow, and I don't, there's not going to be a slowdown to that, and that's backed by everything from science to consumer, needs and choices. And I think what I get inspired by is really seeing this, kind of the rising generations, Gen Z, millennials, et cetera, just really making choices based on their health and wellness. They prioritize themselves, they prioritize their health and wellness. So that's where I just see the continued growth, on and on.
And why do you think Once Upon a Coconut, coming full circle now, you are an advisor to this incredible new brand that is taking the beverage industry by storm?
Yeah.
But Once Upon a Coconut has taken off very quickly and successfully, and it has all these VIPs and celebrities,
Yeah.
majors like yourself endorsing the product. Why do you think this is the case?
That's a great question. I think what's really unique about the brand is I think their brand, their branding, their packaging, everything, their taste. They have, it's a fantastic product. It's one ingredient, or the main original. And I think also what really is unique about the company is that it is their mission to be given back. That founding team is very, very passionate and authentic. They give back about 10% of all proceeds to different charities, and they align them with things that are personal to them. And that's where I think it stands out. And I also think just the founding team is pretty, forward driving, very, again, conviction. They are fighting for it. They're working hard for it, and they're going to make it happen. And that's why I joined the advisory board. I just sort of saw that from the start.
Without a doubt, and that's why I became their brand ambassador and have them on as our platinum sponsors, because when you look at the philanthropic work that John Girando does and the amazing contributions to so many charities, his willingness to always be a leader and an example and a mentor in the community, it's incredibly important. Ray Burbage is just salt of the earth, right? It's roll up my sleeves, let's get the work done. And then you have the most creative of creative souls. Mark and Alan are just so good at what they do, and also hardworking and humble. So back to your point,
I totally agree.
The team.
I could have said that. Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself.
Yeah. So big shout out to the team. Now,
Yes.
you described the Sacred Space Miami when you were working there, when you founded it, and when you were CEO, as a spiritually aligned wellness destination. And now you're coming full circle and you are the founder of the One Tribe. Can
Yes.
you elaborate on the vision behind it all and the role it plays in today's wellness landscape, making the evolution from wellness to now catering to mothers on this incredible journey?
Yes. Well, so yes, my career has definitely taken a journey. I've always been in wellness. I've always been passionate, mostly about educating people about wellness, whatever that looks like, whatever, from coconut water. I always tell you, everybody should be drinking coconut water from pre-birth to old age. It's just, what's your need? What's your ailment? It is the source. So, and that continues to where I am today. Then it, went to being the CEO, helping the founder really grow the sacred space in Miami, and really giving people the opportunity to inviting them in ways to find their inner self. So we had healers, educators, so many different platforms that we brought there to really bring people in to touch their own inner selves. And then I transitioned out. I actually left the sacred space to found this other company that has been an idea in my heart and soul and mind for over 10 years. And it was one that could never die, which was really about bringing women together in pregnancy. It's a very, very unique time in a woman's life, in a family, and like a woman and her partner's life. And I just think something that it was part of my journey is that it's amazing. You're here, you're in this journey, and you then can feel so isolated as your life is changing. And so really at the base of what we're doing at One Tribe is creating a community for women during this one of the most life-changing experiences of your life.
What an incredible idea that you have come up with. Now you are, the One Tribe is located in Miami, but you do plan on expanding. So that's something that we should definitely be looking out for.
Yes.
You could head to the onetribe.com to look for all the latest locations, of course. Now, as a mother and entrepreneur, you have a lot going on. How do you balance your career and family? And are there any strategies or principles that have helped you navigate the balancing act?
Oh, that's such a good question and an eternal one. But so some things that are important to me is balance. It is balance, balance, balance. You have to have it. You have to have community, and you have to have a support system. Whatever that looks like. One thing that's always been really important to me is self-care. So it's sort of the idea of, you've got to, putting on the air mask, before, helping yourself before you can take care of others. And I just think that's important. And so things that I do, I every year I take a hiking trip where it's my personal, it's called the ashram in California is my safe haven, my touchstone every single year. I always make time for it because it's a personal reset. And I come back more mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually grounded. And then it allows me to do everything else that I can do. And then you find that in daily routines and through meditation. I'm a big walker. I will walk everywhere. If I have a problem and I need it solved, and leave everything at home and just walk until that answer comes. And so I think it's taking moments for yourself to find that, to really be able to do everything else that you do, which is so much, which is a lot.
So much. And those are great pieces of advice. And finally, we have about a minute left. For those that are looking to incorporate coconut water into their daily routines, do you have any tips or recommendations for selecting the best quality coconut water?
Well, as I said, I always say everybody from pre-birth to old age should be drinking coconut water. Obviously I can't recommend, Once Upon a Coconut, I think is fantastic. I think from the branding, the mission of the company.
And that's the only one we recommend.
But really, when it comes to drinking coconut water, one thing that people don't know about coconuts is they're like apples. There are a lot of different types of apples. There's green, there's red, there's pink. And it's the same with coconuts, which is why you might be more attracted to one taste than another. I would just say the most important thing is finding a brand that it is one, especially with the original, with the plain, is that it's one ingredient, not filled with sugars. Take it naturally. I personally love coconuts from Brazil, so I go back to the originals. But I think it's just finding the one that you like and incorporating it into your life.
Well, you said it best. These coconuts, they come from Vietnam, and they are so, so tasty.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. You are incredible.
Oh, thank you. You too. I've loved meeting you and getting to know you.
That was the amazing Emilie Fritz Veloso. You definitely have to check her out on the onetribe.com, or you could head directly on the gram and you could find her at the.one.tribe. That was our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Now, you have to understand that I love the Once Upon a Coconut cans because guess what? They're BPA free, and that's a big stickler for me. BPA can seep into food or beverages from containers that are made with it, and exposure to it is a huge concern because it has a lot of health effects on the brain and prostate gland, especially of fetuses, infants, and children, and it can also affect children's behavior. So mamas out there, make sure you're giving your kids beverages that come in BPA-free cans. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, 100% pure coconut water. Imagine a drink that's nutrient-rich, powerfully refreshing, naturally sweet with no added sugars, not from concentrate, zero additives, low in calories, absolutely no artificial flavors, and is so tasty that it will become your new favorite beverage. Enter Once Upon a Coconut, the absolute best tasting coconut water you will ever try. Available in 4 refreshing flavors: pure, chocolate, pineapple, and sparkling with energy. Do your taste buds a favor and pick up some today at onceuponacoconut.com.